So not only were these people experienced 30, 40 years of brokers and real estate agents, they were also builders. But they trusted me all the way up here in New York City. A guy has never done a deal going to contract for $700,000. No proof of funds, nothing.
Yeah.
Literally just using a Jerry tonality on the phone.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's great to be here on this, invite you onto this Zoom. This is a group of my fast track students that do mentoring with me and our small community. And it's great to have you on here. We do this call every single week. So excited to talk to you briefly here about your success as you've gotten started and hear a little bit of your story. You did a really cool deal where you wholesaled a package of lots in Florida. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. But Michael, thank you for joining us, and tell us a little bit about you. How long ago did you get started and what was that process like?
So I got started in 2020. Before I even get to that, it's an honor to be up here. Like, to just talk to you, because you don't even know how much you helped me and you don't even know who I am. So right there, it's just an honor doing this.
Oh, you're
But
welcome.
thank you. My name's Mike Goffredo. I'm from New York City, Staten Island to be exact. It's one of the 5 boroughs. If y'all don't know, the forgotten borough. Most people don't remember.
Uh-huh.
And I got into wholesaling around 2020. So this was the height of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. So I'm watching a lot of YouTube
Mm-hmm.
at the time, 2020. And there's one person that has the most content, most educational content on wholesale. And he's the man right here, Mr. Jerry Norton.
Thank you.
Flipping genius. Literally, my lady, she just, every time she hears it, Jerry, you're a flipping genius. Like, she would say it with you. So I watched this so much that everybody in my house just always heard it at the end.
Yeah.
Jerry, you're a flipping genius.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
so in 2020, I got started watching just YouTube, just learning, just educating myself. And you have the best YouTube platform with the most content for wholesaling. And I still recommend people till this day, because there's nobody I still see now that has as much content covering every single topic, down to negotiation, down to phones, down to contracts, down to markets, down to systems. Like, you do it all in land, houses. There is no limit. Flips. Like, you have the most content by far, most educational content. So I just started consuming a lot of content 2020. So this is January 2020 to be exact. So this is wintertime. So right there in that January, I started getting on the call. So I didn't wait. Once I see what you were doing, I started taking action. And this is what helped me the most. Like, the number one thing that helped me the most is you on the phone. Watching you take phone calls was the best thing ever for me.
Why was that helpful? What'd you learn from that?
So what I would tell myself this same question: what would Jerry do in this conversation? How would he talk? So another big thing is the tone. Like, I took the tone from how you like talk to sellers. Literally, I would mimic everything. Literally, how you held the phone and you would hold it on your head. I would do everything to just feel like, all right, what would Jerry do to succeed in this? Because if Jerry could do it, I could do this. This is how he would do it. So things like challenging their beliefs, asking good questions, the tone, the pausing and letting them speak. All of these things were tremendous. And most importantly, having the confidence to actually make the call. So I had to see you do it to have that confidence for me to go do it. And that was early 2020, but this was houses at the time. So I was doing houses. Couldn't get a house deal for my life, though. So I was struggling with
In New York, or where were you farming for deals?
New Jersey, right across the bridge.
Yeah.
So New York's kind of like the toughest place. Like,
it's a tough market.
It's not a good place to do it. So, like, right over the bridge was way easier to talk to sellers. I was going to sellers' houses, getting contracts, signing them. My thing was dispo. Biggest challenge was me for having somebody to dispo it. And that's one thing you always emphasized on too, was get the deal first and sell it to a cash buyer second. It's always easier. So I was having that hard time right there of getting the dispo off. So in that time with houses, I couldn't get the dispo off. I changed my niche from houses to land.
Okay.
So I follow a lot of other people who were successful with land that I knew personally. So I'm like, hold on, if these guys are doing it with land, they closing multiple deals. I already learned the game of wholesale. I know the basics, but what am I missing that these guys are doing? Deal after deal after deal. That's when I realized I needed a relationship with a cash buyer, all cash buyers. I didn't have no relationships. I didn't know how to talk to cash buyers. I didn't know how they do their numbers. I didn't know anything about cash buyers. I would just look at a market based off of how I thought the price should be and lock up a deal. But if
Hmm.
I'm not buying it, it's irrelevant. I need to know what the market's going to buy it for. So
Yeah.
that's when I learned how to get cash buyers. And what I do now, focused on, is reverse wholesaling.
Hmm.
So what I do is I get the buyer first, and
Hmm.
then I go get the deal second. So I know
Okay.
that's one
Yeah.
thing that you always used to talk about is get the deal first and then the buy.
Hmm.
I'm like, I love getting the buyer first because I
Yeah.
like when it's clear on what I could get. I know the title company, how many days they need, how much they're spending. All of these things make it easy for me to go talk to the seller as if I'm the buyer.
Hmm.
So I would be like,
Yeah,
hey,
there's nothing wrong with that strategy. I mean, you can reverse it and find buyers, find out exactly what their buy box is, and then go find deals that fit their criteria. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that model, especially in the beginning, because now you know exactly what you're looking for. You can even bring it to them and say, "Hey, is this it? Does this fit?" And they'll give you feedback if you have that relationship. In the beginning, for sure. Like that's a great strategy. I don't know if he's on right now, but Nathan Payne, he does it that way quite a bit. Um,
Right here.
there he is. Yeah. So Nathan really likes that model too. And I 100% agree with that. I think in time, once you start to really understand the market and what buyers in general are looking for, and you can generalize deals, then you don't need to be so specific where I've got to have the exact buyer lined up and then go find something that fits them perfectly. Because then you'll be like, okay, well, I know that this is a deal. I'm not quite sure who's going to pay the most for it, but I know I've got a deal. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find the highest paying buyer. I'm not going to go back to the same guy that wants a deal every time. I'm not going to be work specifically for him anymore. Now I'm going to try to just find anybody who will pay the most. So I think there's phases and there's transitions and there's ways around this, and there's things that resonate with you. Like Nathan does quite a bit of reverse wholesaling, and he's pretty consistent with it. So you can build out a model that just focuses on that strategy if you want to, or you can transition. Like it's all just a journey. And I think what you want to do though is you want to be careful that you never lock yourself into one way, right? Like I talk a lot about how the worst thing you can do in this business is become a one-trick pony, meaning you got like one strategy that works and that's it. That's your only playbook. Really, what you want to do is you want to have your toolbox with all kinds of tools. And then as you're in situations, you can say, okay, this particular seller in this particular situation in this particular market, I think this would be the best strategy. And I'm flexible. But again, that's as you learn, as you start to add more tools to the toolbox. In the beginning, you might have one tool and it's a screwdriver and that's all you've got. And so work with what you've got, that's fine. Like that's just how we develop. All of this is developmental. We've got to learn certain things, apply those things like you're doing, take action, see results, do it a few times, get better at it, find the process, fine tune it. Once you feel like you've got that dialed in and you've got it working really well, expand a little bit, not too soon, not too much, but expand a little bit into a new marketing channel or a different way of doing it. Maybe you start focusing on building a buyer's list, whereas before you weren't, and in time, you start to just become better and better at what you do and you build your game stronger.
Hey, Jared, can I clarify something super quick or let people
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Jump on in here, Nathan.
Yeah, so everybody, when we talk about working with buyers, first, what I do mainly, because Jerry's right, like once you have enough experience, you know what a deal is. It's not hard to know when you have a deal. Especially if you anchor someone and they're right in the money, right? It makes sense. There's no reason to go bring it to someone specific or be an employee for that specific buyer. What I do is when I talk to sellers where they're not quite in the money. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if it's a deal because it's kind of tight, but I know there's a cash buyer that I have in my inventory somewhere that would be open to paying close. I don't just make a low offer, and if it doesn't work in that low offer range, I just walk away. I say, hey, look, I totally get that's what you want. I have a couple cash buyers I work with that might be able to pay closer to what you're looking at, if that I work with, that we flip houses with. I just need to do some due diligence. And that's when I reach out to a couple cash buyers that I know personally and then that's where the negotiation, and that's when you go back and forth and say, hey, I think I'm missing something. They're wanting this. I know it's close. I don't like to just lock up things where I know it's not a deal, but it's close just so I can beat them up later. That's not my strategy.
Yeah.
So it's mainly don't don't just work for one cash buyer. Terrible idea because you're gonna box yourself in. You're gonna lose a lot of deals. It's mainly you leverage cash buyers, your relationships with a couple cash buyers to help you when you got something close, but you don't want to lock it up because you're uncomfortable because you don't want to tell the seller you can pay more than you believe you can. Does that make sense, Jerry? What I'm saying?
Yeah. Great clarification. Yeah. And Nathan, you've done deals where you're like, hey, I'm negotiating with the seller. I don't think it's quite where I want it to be. It might work, it might not work, but I've got a relationship with a cash buyer in the market that I trust. He's not going to backdoor me because he gets it. Like he knows what we're doing. He's not going to go direct to the seller. I can trust him. Now there's a risk there, but I trust him. And then you call up your buyer and you're like, hey, I'm right there with this seller. I need you to get eyes on this and tell me your number. And whatever your number is, I'll see if I can make that work. Because, I want to reward you for helping me, maybe get this deal together. And then the buyer, most buyers, if they're cool buyers, like I would do this, I'd be like, let me take a look at it. And then you take a look at it and you're like, okay, Nathan, this is the deal for me at X number. Go see what you can do. And now Nathan knows, okay, here's the exit price with a buyer. And now I just got to go negotiate 10K or 15K or whatever below. And I know I can put it together. I know where I can go firm. I know where I could waive contingencies, maybe put down earnest, whatever. I can go in now really strong with the seller because now I know exactly where I need to be. And so that's a really good way in the beginning, especially not only in the beginning, but it's a great strategy as well in a market that you don't really know that well. And this is where, Nathan, you do a lot of deals in, outside of markets that. And so there's nuance to every market. And I'm the same way. Like I'll get with a seller. And here's another way I do it, Nathan. It's quite a little bit different, but I'll still lock it up, but I'll be very, very upfront with the seller. And I'll say to the seller, I say, listen, I don't know if this number can work. I need to do some due diligence, but I don't want to do the due diligence without having a contract in place because that's not a good use of time. Perfect. Let's lock it up. Give me 10 days due diligence. I'm going to reach out to my contractors, my investors, my partners, and I'm going to do everything I can to verify that this number, let's say 150, that number works. If it doesn't for some reason, if we uncover something during the due diligence, I'll let you know right away. I'm not going to string you along and just give me a couple days, right? Because it only takes a couple days and and now you've preset, right, the expectations with that seller. Right. So then when you come back and you're like, hey, 150 doesn't work, 140 works. Can we make that work? And you're renegotiating. It's not tricky. It's not slimy. It's not backdooring. It's not all the shady stuff. And the only reason why it's not shady now is because you were very transparent and you tried to go in at the right number up front. You weren't going high and then coming back. What a lot of wholesalers do that are shady is, let's say the seller's like, I need 180, and 180 is just not a deal. And you're like, yeah, okay, sign at 180 with a 30-day closing and a 30-day due diligence. On day 29, when the U-Haul's packed in the driveway, wholesaler comes back and says, you know what? 180 doesn't work anymore, but 150 does. And they try to get them in that desperate situation. And that's backhanded and that's bad. That's unethical. Sorry, Mike, we went on a bit of a tangent there, but great conversation.
That was great. Now I'm learning still. I'm always learning. So it's always.
So let's pick up where you left off. You were doing reverse, where you were reaching out to some buyers and then trying to go find them deals. So then what happened?
Yeah, so what I do is I get at least 3 buyers. 3 of the top buyers I see that bought the most properties. So that's who I like to. I say that because I don't want to have 1 because 1's too close to none, and I don't want to have 2 because 2's too close to 1 and 1's too close to none. So I want to have at least 3 guys that I know is the top guys that I shop it to when I get it. So that's my formula every market I go to. So in the markets I love, Florida, the entire state of Florida, because it's land, just because it's land, it's like the hottest place for land deals. Like, and it's specifically infill vacant lots, residential infill lots at that. So I don't deal with acres or bigger parcels, nothing like that. Residential only too, no commercial. And like what you're saying though, it's successful volume wise. So I get a lot of deals, 5, 10, 7, 8,000, 9,000. So I can do 4 or 5 deals a month. But I haven't done the home run deals that you're saying, the 50,000, the 60,000, because of the strategy, basically learning from Nicole right now. Yeah. So that's the thing that I know. I like to do volume, but I definitely want to graduate.
Good. So talk to us about this package deal you did. You found a seller that had a whole bunch of lots that he wanted to sell.
Yeah, this is a crazy story. Like, I could go into the whole story, but I want to make it short and sweet for everybody because it's a crazy story. So this was a seller who owned 100. I remember the company too, Amarillo Custom Homes. So this is already a builder. This is
Yeah.
a builder that owned 100 lots. And I'm a newbie all the way up in New York City, calling a builder that owns 100 lots. And even the best part about this, the whole entire family, Amarillo Custom Homes, that was their name, Amarillo. The whole family were brokers and real estate agents. So not only were these people experienced 30, 40 years of brokers and real estate agents, they were also builders. But they trusted me all the way up here in New York City. A guy has never done a deal going to contract for $700,000. No proof of funds, nothing.
Yeah.
Literally just using a Jerry tonality on the phone.
Yeah.
Questioning them, giving them that confidence, that certainty on the phone that I could get it done. Send over the contract, I get it signed. So now this was the catch. I didn't have
For 50 lots, right? It was for 50 lots?
15. So this was 15 lots.
15. Okay. So
They had
why 15? They had 100 and you just said, let's start with 15?
I wanted to get all of them if I could.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
let's do them all. But they were hitting me with the let's do 15 right now.
Okay.
And if this goes smooth, we'll give you another package of 20.
Okay.
So this was there, which that never happened. Because
Yeah.
when it did sell, they upped their price the next.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was like, I see what was going on. So I got the lots, 15 of them at 52,000 each. And how I came up with this number to get them at 52,000 each is because I just seen most common price selling for lots in that area were like 60,000. So I'm like, let me just offer 10,000 on each of them under that. Because I
Okay.
know that most common buyer was paying 58, 60,000. So I
Okay.
just know I needed some room. I got them under contract at 52. So I started shopping into buyers. I actually went in a Facebook group. This is why this is a crazy story. A girl had actually commented back on one of my posts. I said, who has a buyer at Palm Coast at 15 lots that I'm looking to get rid of? Who has a buyer? She writes under it, hey, Mike, I have a buyer that closes in 90 days. He pays between 58,000 and 60,000 in Palm Coast. Ended up being D.R. Horton, one of the biggest builders in the country.
Mhm.
So and she's like, they double close. I've done a ton of deals with them. Trust me, this is going to be great. They're paying 58.5. Hold on, he actually wants it. So she sent it over to him. He wanted them for 58.5. I was actually partnering with my boy at the time when we first started. I agreed that I would do acquisitions, he would do dispositions. So in that same time, he's speaking to the buyer that she's speaking to. So they both sent the same package at the same time.
Oh no.
This was a disaster. This rookie mistakes,
Yeah.
big rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
So she has a relationship with the guy already because they have done deals already. So I'm like, I'd rather go with the person who has the relationship over my boy. But my boy's like, bro, we don't know her.
Yeah.
I got the relationship right now. We get $100,000. You get 50, I get 50. Why you want to give her half the deal right now? We don't even know her.
Yeah.
I'm like, she has a relationship with him. Right now, at least we know who the buyer is for future references. But right now, let's just get a deal. The goal is to get a deal. We just need to get paid. We need the proof of concept. We need to just know this thing is real. So long story short, he ends up saying he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to go with her. The buyer's asking her, whose deals are these now? Because you're sending it to me and another guy's sending it to me. So she tells me, Mike, I'm letting him know that we're all together, but your boy is saying we don't know each other. So the buyer ends up going, I don't want these deals because I do business with the girl. And if it's not going to be through her, I don't want them at all. I'll look for the next one. Oh my God. It was like a disaster for me. I'm panicking like, holy.
It wasn't, was it by chance Derby Lararchy?
No, this was a girl named Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another girl. So she's like, Mike, she's sending me the screenshots of my boy, like, hey, I don't know her. He's sending the screenshots of his messages.
No.
Like all type. It was just a mess. A mess. So that falls through. He ends up getting Holiday Builders. Holiday Builders said they'll pay 53 each for the lots. So we got them at 52 each. We get it over to Holiday Builders, but that wasn't smooth either. So they needed about 2 more extra months to close on a deal. So I had to get about 2 addendums because due to the fact it was 15 lots, they couldn't get their guys out to every lot in time, plus the title work. This is my first deal. So like by the second addendum, the seller was like, hey, this is the last addendum. You can't get this closed by this addendum. We're just canceling this agreement. But they got it done. Holiday got it done. They ended up closing it out. And we made 15,000. So me and my boy at the time, we still good friends, but we just couldn't work together. We weren't on the same page.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
What I did was pay my brother $5,000 out of that deal. My brother at the time was doing a warehouse job overnight for like 3,400 a month, giving them 160 hours. I'm like, bro, I got proof of concept. You got paid $15,000. Take this $5,000, give me 140 hours of your time, and do exactly what I tell you to do. And we've been closing multiple deals ever since, every month. Like, he literally just texted me.
So you reinvested 15,000 that you made, 5,000 into hiring your brother, and basically said, "Hey, this is a month's worth of work or more. Come over and work for me. And you got time to learn and figure this out. Let's go figure this out."
Yes. So what he would do would be like the administrative computer stuff. So he would get the list for me. He would basically do all of the computer stuff, and I'll be the one that get on the call and actually close him through. So it was like peanut butter and jelly for us.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he still, to this day, he runs all of the tech system. He closes deals, literally never has to get on the phone one time. He closed deals all through text. I'm still amazed to this day because me personally, if I sold any real estate, I need to speak to somebody. I need to speak to a voice. But people sell real estate to us all day long, strictly through text. And that first one could have been $100,000 if we would have went with the girl. If it was just me on the deal, my first deal would have been $100,000. That story would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But I was partnering with my boy, and he was kind of being greedy and thirsty.
Yeah.
And it spoiled that one. But it ended up being 15,000. All I needed was the proof of concept to know this worked. Because I was a year and a half in. If, mind you, I started 2020 watching you. My first deal was 2022, March 28th. This is a 2-year difference.
Yeah.
So in between that 2-year time frame, I'm all over the place. I'm doing seller finances. I'm looking at fix and flips. I'm just spreading myself thin. I didn't focus on one niche. Like you said, get a tool first when you start.
Yeah.
I was hiring VAs before I even did a deal.
Yeah.
I was getting all of these things, thinking this was gonna bail me out, getting bigger lists. I needed to get the skill. I needed to sit there on that phone and actually know how to talk to these people and get a deal closed from A to Z. And once I gained that knowledge, the rest has been history. We've been
Yeah, that's great advice. It really is. I call that the shiny object syndrome, where you're chasing this and that, and you end up doing all these things not good at all, instead of hyper focusing on one thing and getting to the finish line. That's great advice. I really like that. Honestly, you should be closing out deals all by yourself without any employees or anything else, until you've transacted a little bit, got some experience, got some cash in your bank, and then everything's at the right timing. Like I was saying earlier, are you doing mostly land still, or are you doing houses, or what's your main type of lead?
I only do land still.
Only land. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to bring up this point too, because one of the seller finance deals, I had a great seller finance deal. I actually spoke to Pace Morby with. I knew that it was a great deal, that I had enough leverage to get him on the phone. So what I did is I had an 8-unit building in Ocean City, New Jersey. Like, one unit was 4-bedroom, 3-bath. I had it to the point where it was 1.6 total, negotiated the terms and everything for 25,000 down on a commercial building. I'm like, I got to get Pace on the phone for this. Fast forward, I get him on the phone. He's like, "Hey, Mike, I can't pay you 50,000 because I wanted a 50,000 assignment fee for it." He's like, "I won't pay you 50,000, but what I could do is fly to Jersey, take you on a date to McDonald's." That's the best I could do. That's what I knew I had a deal, because Pace Morby was negotiating. Pace Morby gave me his time and actually negotiated. What I should have did was actually take it, because the deal fell through. I never got nothing for it.
Yeah.
But what I could have had was a relationship with Pace.
Yeah.
Knowing that what I know now, like, it was just.
That's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, strictly infill residential still to this day. So I still deal with the top builders, the DR Holtons, the Holiday Builders, the Adam Homes. So they give us criteria every month, say looking for 40 lots in this area, 200 lots over here. So then our goal is to just satisfy that criteria and get a piece of the money.
Yeah, if you guys I just released a video a couple days ago with she goes by Miss Derby, the land queen. She's done 75 lot flips using prop wire, and on that video, it was I think it was a couple days ago, we go through and I screenshot, she explains how she does her searches on the software, on prop wire, for free, by the way, and her exact criteria, and then where she's getting her list, and then also the criteria for how she finds buyers also there, because you can go find buyers that are buying land as well, and how she puts those pieces together. And we talked about it on that podcast, and I'll say it on this as well. Land is like an untapped opportunity. A lot of people don't really think about lots, buildable lots and vacant land. They just think houses. So most of the competition is in houses, and flipping lots is a fairly untapped opportunity. Learn how to find those deals, find those buyers, and you could be flipping lots with a whole lot less competition.
And it's crazy because I was doing houses for 2 years, couldn't get one deal. I close multiple deals a month with land. That's how much easier it is. And it makes it completely virtual for me.
Yeah.
So with houses, I'm gonna still need some type of boots on the
Somebody.
ground.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, because the seller can tell me all they want. Hey, my kitchen's good, my bathroom's good. I'm gonna need somebody to go in and take pictures, walk through it, see something. So with land, as we know, we could just look on the map. It's as long as it's a lot and no structures there, it could be garbage on it, doesn't really matter. That could be
Yeah.
cleaned up, the debris. It's land. So I know that it's super virtual for us.
Yeah, I have a lot deal right now in Fort Lauderdale, and it was a house, but the house is basically a tear down, and so it's land value. So I switched gears quickly with the seller and went to land value because I'm looking, I'm researching, I'm seeing all this new construction going up, and I noticed 2 doors down from this tear down house is for sale, an active listing of somebody that built a duplex. So it's an investor flipper, and they built a duplex, same size lot, same everything. Just literally 2 doors down, same side of the street and everything. So I call up the agent. I'm like, hey, I got this deal I'm selling. It's right next to your other one. Do you want it? And he's like, yeah, here's our number. We pay. And I go back and negotiate a 20K spread on my wholesale, right? And they're buying it, and they're cash, and they know exactly what they want. And I didn't have any buyers. I just found someone local right there on the same street that was building. And I'm like, okay, that's probably my buyer. Where they know their numbers, clearly they just did one. And so but it was complete shift from houses to land, and so you need to be able to look at that opportunity as well, I think, when you're doing this business.
Yes.
Yeah, you have some great nuggets. Go ahead.
Nah, yeah, I'm sorry. I want to do houses, but the land is just so easy. It's just like, why leave it?
Yeah,
It
that's
it'll
great.
just be me just wanting to do my own thing at this point.
Yeah. So guys, so good for you. That's really great. You know what's the coolest thing to me, about your story, Mike, is you just didn't give up. Even after 2 years of trying and learning and practicing and calling and all the things, you didn't give up. And because of that, you found your thing, you found your niche, and here you are off to the races. And it reminds me of that analogy, like 3 feet from gold. You're digging, and most people are 3 feet from the gold and they quit. Right? Everyone quits right before they're about to have success. And most people that just stick with it, they figure it out and they find their thing, and then they're successful. And you've definitely proven that. So, way to go. You're a flipping genius. Guys, leave a comment, say, Mike, you're a flipping genius.
I can't believe I'm getting that from Mr. Jerry himself.
Yeah, good for you. I'm really proud of you. Keep working hard.
To make sure, because I work so hard to hear this from the flipping genius himself. Do you mind if I record it? I just want to have you say it one time. Mike's a flipping genius from you. But hold on, I'm
do it.
it.
Yeah, do it.
I work so hard to hear this in my life, coming from the flipping genius himself.
Mike, you are a flipping genius. So proud of you, bro. Keep it up.
Thank you, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you for bringing me up here, brother. Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep up the good work, Mike. Appreciate all you do. Guys, great call today. Thank you, everybody. All right, have an awesome week, you guys. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.